Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, to the world away, and I know we're having another Ecto-1 week this week. It's stage 26 of Hero Collector and Eagle Moss's Build the Ecto-1. Okay, in stage 26, we're going to be doing the control box, the battery, and the oil reservoir. This has got lots of tiny details in it. As a matter of fact, if I just go to the inventory of what we've got here, in stage 26, you can see all of this here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of screws, 2 pipes, and lots of control boards, including the battery and control box there. So what we're going to be doing is going to be fitting the control box to the fender beam that we've been creating in the last couple of issues. Then we're going to be assembling the battery, putting terminals on the battery, and then fitting the oil reservoir to the front of the vehicle there. And then we're going to be mounting the whole section we've been working on. That's this section just here, looking like that, to the front of the vehicle. So when we're finished, we've got some terminals to put in for the battery there, some electric leads. We need to earth this to one of the wheel arches there, or fender liners, but when we're finished, we're going to have that radiator beam mounted to the front of the vehicle, which is going to look pretty impactful, I think. We have got another 4 issues to do, but I will start staggering them through the month now, so I have got them here. So 27, 28, 29 and 30 will be coming. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So the first thing we're going to be working on is the control box, and that looks just like this. We've got a lid for it here, going like this, and as you can see, we've got 2 lugs at the bottom here, which are just going to go into these holes. So when we push this together, it's going to look just like that, and we're going to be securing that in just from this side here with 2 DP screws. So I've got them ready here. Let's get these in. Now, nice and early on a Thursday morning this is, so I don't anticipate this issue being too hard, but there is quite a lot to do, which I like. I tend to find there seems to be lots to do in the last issue of a pack. So, but this is really going to make the car pop at the end, I think. But there we go. That's the 2 screws in. That's the control box looking just like that. Now we're going to be bringing over the radiator beam and the radiator that we worked on last time. This is actually going to be going in this side, the control box, with the flat side up like that. We've got one screw hole here, and we've got a hole for the lugs, which are just on the back of this here. So I can put that in just like that, hold that in place. That's how that's going to look. And we're going to screw it in from this side with 2 screws just into this point here, and they are the IP screws, which again I've got this side. I'm going to have to drop all this so I can load the screw up. What we up to on screws now? We were on IP, I think IP, I don't think we got a KP yet, have we? But this build is certainly taking lots of screws at the moment. It is brilliant that Hero Collector and Eagle Moss have provided more screws than we need each issue, but I have got a screw box just in case I need spares. So get this one in as well, and then screw it in nice and tight. And there you go, that's the control box in, looking just like that. We can put that to one side because we're going to be working on creating the battery now. The battery's a big old thing, looking just like that. It's quite a lot actually. It's probably about, let's have a look on this map, about 4 centimeters long by about just 1.5 centimeters wide. It's a lot bigger than it looks, but this is plastic. All of these parts that you're seeing now are plastic when I'm putting them together. And quite simply, all we're going to do is we're going to be lining up, as you can see, the bottom of this has got a notch just on this corner here. We're going to line that up with the space that we've got there. So that's going to go in just like that. And we're going to secure this underneath with some DP screws. Now these are the screws that we worked on first when we were putting the control box together. So we put these in there. Number 1. And number 2. Now all you modders out there, I'm sure this is the time now to really start souping up the batteries, getting some authentic wires and stuff in there. I think that will look pretty good actually. But there we go, that's looking like that. And then once again, taking the radiator bar, this battery has actually got 2 locating lugs just here and here. They're going to fit over the 2 holes there, which are going to line up 3 screws to put this in. So if I just put that in like how it's going to go, just like that, turn it upside down, and we're going to screw that in with 3 screws this side. Those screws, once again, are IP screws. So I'll put the middle one in first, and that should hold everything together. And then I can probably lay it almost flat, and just locate the other 2 screws here. That's 2. One more. Here's the last screw. Number 3. Driving it home. And there you go, that's the battery in place. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is the oil reservoir, which looks just like that. Now, before we actually put the top on, which looks like that, we need to actually put a cap on. Now, here's the cap. Quite a tiny thing, but that's just going to go into this hole just at the top there. So I'll put that in, and then while holding it and making sure it's sitting flat in there, we're going to secure that in with an EP screw. I haven't opened those ones yet, so I'm trying to do that with one hand. Get that lined up, and again, you're going to need a long stemmed screwdriver. That's why I use these wearer ones here, just to locate that into the hole at the bottom there. Personally, the best way you're going to screw this in is to hold it with both hands really tight at the top there, and there you go, that's the cap for the oil on, looking just like that. If you don't hold that really tight, it's just going to keep spinning on the screw, because the lug that we put on there was actually round, it wasn't shaped. But there we go, that's that section in. And then we're going to be putting the base on, which, as you can see, we've got an angled section down here. We've got the same sort of detail just on the flat section there, so it can only go in one way, just like that. And then down the top there, we're going to be putting a DP screw. So I've got one of them here. Again, these are the ones that we used at the start. And we get that into place and screw that nice and tight. There we go. Now, I don't know if that oil reservoir top was black. I'll have to look at some reference photos. I've just got a funny feeling that that should be a different colour, but I don't know. I do not know. Now, to fit this, we're going to need to bring over the whole car. So here's the car here, and as you can see, I've got myself some trusty polystyrene here, which I'm just going to put under the back section just to support the whole vehicle here. And the oil reservoir is going to fit over these 2 lugs that we see here, just like that. Now, it takes 2 different kinds of screws. Towards the front edge here, the first hole takes an EM screw, and towards the back it's a DM screw. Once again, we are going into metal for this, so I'm going to just drop some oil into these holes. 1, 2. And what I'll do first is we'll get the DM screw out, and I think I'll secure it in with that one first. So, like I just said, the DM screw is going to go nearest to the engine. I'm going to put that in, not too tight though, because I need to get the EM screw in now. And the EM screw goes into the other hole, which is towards the front of the vehicle here. And then we can tighten these up completely. Just going to bend this wire back here a second, because now we're going to be attaching the front radiator beam to the vehicle. So this alcove that we've got in the radiator facing this way round is actually going to go just behind that oil reservoir there. So I'm just going to put this in. Now we've got holes either side of the wheel arches here, which is what we're going to be using to secure this into place. But before we do that, we've got 2 cooling pipes. I'm just going to take it out to locate into the radiator. We've got the one down the bottom here and the one up the top here. So it's probably going to be a little bit fiddly, but we'll get the bottom one in first. I am going to use my tweezers on this just to help me out. And that's the bottom pipe in. I'm going to locate the top pipe as well. Just like that, they're both in. We've got the pipe there right down the bottom secured, and the pipe just at the top secured. I don't know if any camera managed to see that. I think the top camera may have. And now that I'm happy they're in, we're going to secure this in place with an EM screw either side. So once again, because it's an EM screw, I'm just going to drop some oil just into the screw holes either side of this. And now they're in, I'll connect these with the EM screws. So I've got the first one in. We need to do the one on the other side here. I'll tell you now, locating these up is not that easy. And this one's going to be even harder because I'm actually putting it in the other way here. So I'll get this in and see if we can get this lined up. So I'll just tighten them both up now. And there we go, that's the radiator beam and the radiator tight in place. Obviously make sure it's level at the top there, and obviously the bottom is straight as well. You'll know that because if the pipes come out at the bottom, it's not straight. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to take the cable that we connected to this side of the generator here, and we're going to be connected to this side, nearest to the wheel arch here of the junction box. So I'll just get this around here and we'll plug that in. So that's just going in here. Just like that. And then we're going to be just working on grounding the battery. So we've got one ground point which is just going to go here. It's a tiny little thing looking just like that. And on the other side here we have got a locating lug, so it's easy to know where it's going to go. So that's just going to sit in on the top there like that. And to keep that held in place we're going to use an EP screw. So I've got that here. I'll get that screwed in. Nice and tight, like that. Now we've got two pipes looking like that. Or these are actually going to be the electric terminal cables. And what we need to do is just plug in one end of the terminals, which are, again, are really tiny. We've got two of these to hold this pipe into place. So put one in this side. I don't think I'm going to need my tweezers for this. They're going in absolutely fine. So that's what one looks like. Let's do the other one. Here's the second one. Just rocking it backwards and forwards. If you are having problems getting these in, just warm the end up of that pipe and it will sit over. But you see, I didn't have a problem at all getting that one in. Now the terminal points are exactly the same as are the pipes. So for all intended purposes, all of these leads are exactly the same. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in one section to the battery terminal here, just like that. And the one that's on the furthest side away from the engine here is going to go into the control box, the other side of the control box, just there. So we'll get this pipe in as well. Very detailed, isn't it? Very, very, very detailed. And then with the other battery terminal, they've got this battery terminal going this way. This one they've got at a slight angle, but I don't suppose it matters. I think it might just have a shape actually. They'll actually enable you to put that in, because this one goes kind of horizontal to that one there. And then this one's going to be grounded to the grounding point that we just put in there. So I'll plug that into the end, just like that. And that's the battery now connected to the engine. And guess what? That's all we have to do in that stage. That was really enjoyable. You see what I mean about it all coming together now with these batteries in place, the pipes going into the radiator. This is why I love this build so much. And that's it. That's all we have to do in this issue. Now, issue 27, we're going to be doing the engine bulkhead, and that's probably going to be coming around next week. But I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care, stay safe.